So yesterday, WWE made yet another crazy change to its product by appointing Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff as executive directors, and they will both report directly to Vince McMahon. Now this means they're going to oversee the entire creative process, and Paul Heyman will be overseeing Monday Night Raw and Eric Bischoff will be overseeing SmackDown Live.
Oh, yeah.
Now this again is another change, and I called it a crazy change because although the product isn't that good, WWE keeps on making these changes, and so far they haven't really worked. If you think about it, they did away with the general managers and the commissioners, and they ran everything through the McMahon family. That almost diminished the brand split. Then they introduced the wildcard rule, which really ruined the brand split because superstars were going where they want, whenever they want. And then we had the introduction of the chaotic 24/7 championship, and although the stuff on social media is good, again, superstars were just jumping from brand to brand without any consequence. Again, it ruins the brand split. So I'm hoping the addition of Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff will bring some control back to these brands and the product. But will it? We'll have to wait and see. But all of this has got me thinking about WWE games, because how on earth are 2K going to keep up with the ever-changing WWE? Now a few years back we had this problem where WWE updated their graphics for Monday Night Raw, and it didn't make the WWE game. So that meant Raw was outdated in WWE games before it had even been released. And this time round I can only see more of that happening because we've had plenty of changes thus far, and I only think there'll be more changes now that Heyman and Bischoff have taken up these executive director roles. We don't know how WWE give 2K a heads up, if they even give them one at all, because it feels like WWE don't even know what their creative process is at the moment. They're still hashing it out, which is why they've made this decision. So how on earth can a games company keep in line with a company that doesn't know it themselves? Just saying. And you can't blame 2K if the game isn't up to date and WWE continue to make changes without keeping them in the fold. Let's say for example that 2K have done plenty of work on Universe Mode this year, and they decided to initially introduce GMs for Universe Mode. Then WWE goes and does away with the GMs and the commissioners, and 2K are looking at their game and thinking, oh, but we just put in GMs this year. We wanted to make that something unique for Universe Mode. Now we're at a bit of a problem because that's not up to date with the current product, because now they've got everything running through the McMahon family. So why don't we adjust that once again, only to then find out that Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff are going to be on-screen GMs as part of the executive directors roles. This is what I mean. It's an ever-changing product, and a games company has to try and keep up with it, and they're not being kept in the loop. So it just concerns me what the game's going to be like upon release if WWE continuously make these changes. And it's not just a case of, for example, and that was just an example before anyone thinks, well, if they've done that, that's just stupid. That was an example. But another example of it isn't just the in-game modes, it's just the look of the arenas. You've got to think that with WWE looking to have these two distinct creative processes, that they might overhaul the looks of Raw and SmackDown. And we've already seen, as part of the Fox launch, an advert which some people are saying are fake, but I actually think it is legit. The logo that we saw is a legit logo for SmackDown as part of its rebrand with Fox. And if it is, once again, I'll put to you guys, is it going to make WWE 2K20? Because how can it make 2K20? We're beginning to get to that crunch point now, and if WWE are going to revamp as part of that Fox launch, you might just think, well, the logo is just the start. We might then be looking at a brand new stage, a brand new look, And then if Paul Heyman's looking at that and thinking, well, Eric Bischoff has gone through this massive revamp as part of Fox, revamp that was, then why don't I do something with Monday Night Raw? Then the Raw arena goes out of sync. So I'm just sort of, I was thinking about this, and it might not get this drastic, but I do believe that if Heyman and Bischoff are going to stamp and make their mark on these two brands, they are going to be continuing to change and develop this product, and it may look nothing like what we get in a WWE game by the time that WWE 2K20 rolls around. So we could be looking at a product that looks completely different to the game. So what can WWE Games do to actually factor this in and try and keep up? Well, I think that they need to maybe look at their DLC and their structure of how they have, bonuses and updates throughout the year. They need to look at that, and they need to work out a strategy if there's going to be all these changes, because they need to keep the game up to date to a degree. Because you might think from a marketing perspective it's not so bad, because then they'll have those new arenas and things in WWE 2K21, but I do think it is very disappointing to pick up a game and then you've got it and it's outdated within the first week. So I think that it needs to be factored in, and if it is factored in, then things like, for example, the SmackDown arena, that needs to be part of a DLC that's dropped into the game, maybe within the first month as a perk. Maybe you get monthly perks to keep the game fresh and updated. It might be that they don't actually give you the arena, they give you the props and the tools to do it. So you get the stage to download, then you have the logo that's added through an update, through a patch, and you can go and create that arena yourself, because we've got very talented creators out there, so I'm sure that's possible. But WWE Games would be nice if they gave us the tools to do it. And then you have to think as well from a creative aspect of the superstars that Heyman might be deciding to repackage plenty of talent to get them over, which means that their gimmicks and their looks are also going to change. Bischoff might be thinking the same. Look, that isn't working out for that superstar, let's change up that look. What about a Chad Gable who's already changed his look? Have 2K already factored that one in, made the change, only for him to change again because Eric Bischoff likes the guy? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like never ending. So I really think that there may need to be a significant change to the DLC content this year, and maybe it becomes more of a live update content. Maybe on a monthly or a 2-monthly basis, WWE Games gives us a significant update, and that gives us new attires and it gives us new arenas in the game, and maybe that's the way to go forward, because then you are able to retain and keep up with the product. It would mean more work from WWE Games, but we have also been hearing that WWE Games are getting more investment this year and they're looking to do a big massive trailer. Now I'd like, if that's the case, some focus to be made to keep the game more up to date, because if you look at where we're at now, we're in June, July, the game for 2K19 is really at a stage now without, content creators making creative content. The game's really at a point where the interest is kind of dying out, and I actually think this game should be playable from October to October or November to November. It really should. You should get your year's worth for what you pay for, because let's say for example you pay for the collector's edition, you're shifting out 80 to sometimes £120. So the game should definitely last you a year, no doubt. And at the moment with the DLC, it still doesn't last you a year. It doesn't keep many people playing all year round. But let's just say in the final month you had an update of updated arenas, or maybe 5 or 6 or 7 attires, I don't know, just putting it out there. That would keep me going, because I'd be like, oh, I want to see what new attire they gave Gable. Oh, I want to see what they've done. So what kind of ideas would you look to implement to keep the game up to date? And does it concern you with all these changes? Now, in terms of the actual appointments of Heyman and Bischoff, I'm very excited for it. I think that the two are very creative, and I think that they do need, two figureheads. And I do think that the brands need to have that split so it's defined and clear. They might need to work on the wildcard rule to make it more productive instead of just superstars go where they want. But the main thing is that these two brands now need to be competitive. And if we've got that from Heyman and Bischoff, and they are on screen personas too, challenging each other each week, it's going to make things very fun. So I'm all for this change, but I do have concerns about WWE 2K20 and if it can retain and stay up to date with all the magnitude of the changes coming from WWE. And I want to get your views and opinions on it in the comment section below. How can WWE Games keep up with the ever-changing WWE?